Hi all, welcome to the CA classroom. In today's lecture, we will be discussing the concept of unpaid seller, which is Unit 4 of Sale of Goods Act and CA Foundation syllabus. Now, who is an unpaid seller? Let's say X has sold some goods worth rupees 10,000 to Y. Now, Y has to make payment to X. Y has to make payment to X. What are the various modes in which Y can make payment? He can make a cash payment immediately, or he can request for credit 30 days, 40 days, 60 days credit. So he can make on credit after 30 days, 60 days. Or instead of giving cash, he can give a check or a bill of exchange or a promissory note. All the three are called negotiable instruments. What are negotiable instruments? He is giving a check or bills receivable, bills payable, bills, or he will give a promissory note, one of those three, which is a negotiable instrument. X will receive the payment. Now, X is the seller and Y is the buyer. Where Y is not making the payment to X in full, or the term used is whole. Where whole of the payment is not received, X will be called a unpaid seller. Now, out of 10,000, Y has paid only rupees 5,000. He will still be called an unpaid seller. Let's say he has paid 9,000 rupees. Only 1,000 is not paid. Can I call X unpaid seller? Very much yes. He has paid 9,999. Only 1 rupee is balance. Can I still call X an unpaid seller? Very much yes. Until entire 10,000 rupees is received, X will be called an unpaid seller until whole amount is paid. This is in case of payment. Second, in case of a negotiable instrument where check, promissory note or bill of exchange is given, where such a negotiable instrument is dishonored. Dishonored meaning not paid. Let's say check is given on the date X has gone to his bank, State Bank of India, to present his check. Check has bounced, saying insufficient funds. So whenever negotiable instrument is dishonored, immediately the seller, here in this case X, will become an unpaid seller. What can an unpaid seller do? Unpaid seller has two rights. He has rights against the goods. What goods he has sold, rights against these goods, and he also has rights against the buyer. So now in the next section, let us see what are the rights of an unpaid seller. Now let us discuss what are the various rights of an unpaid seller. Unpaid seller has rights against goods and he has rights against the buyers. Both are separate. First we will cover rights against the goods. Against the goods, in the previous chapter, Unit 3, when Unit 3 we discussed transfer of ownership or transfer of property from the seller to buyer. If you have not watched that video, link is in description for that. Where rights against goods, property in the goods or ownership is transferred to the buyer. One case, ownership, property in the goods is not yet transferred to the buyer. Then where ownership is transferred, he has three rights. The seller has three rights. Which seller? Unpaid seller. He has right of lien on goods, right in stoppage of transit, and right of resale of those goods. In case where property in goods is not yet transferred, the unpaid seller has all these three rights plus one more new right, withholding of delivery. Rights against the buyer. What are the rights he has? Suit for price, suit for damages for non-acceptance of goods, suit for interest, and repudiation of contract before the due date. Now each of these points let us see in detail. Now let us discuss the first point where unpaid seller's lien can be exercised in what all cases. First, a credit sale has been made. Let's say X sold to Y, credit sale for 30 days period. After 30 days, Y has still not made the payment, then X can exercise his lien on the goods. Firstly, what do you mean by lien? Lien means retaining the possession of the goods. You will have the possession of the goods. Let's say I have sold the goods, whether or not ownership is transferred or not. In both the cases, if the payment is still not received, as an unpaid seller, I have the right to retain the possession of the goods. In second case, in case of cash sales where payment is not yet received, and third case where the buyer, the person who has bought goods from you, after purchasing the goods, he has become insolvent, then in any of these three cases, unpaid seller's lien can be exercised. That means he can retain the possession of the goods. When will such lien come to an end? When will it come to an end? When will his right to possession come to an end? One, I am the unpaid seller, I am waiving off my right. I am leaving it, I am waiving off my right. Next, when the seller delivers the goods, I am the seller delivering the goods to a carrier, meaning these truck agencies, DLF, all these transport agencies, I have delivered it to a carrier, or other daily, another person, I have delivered to another person. For what purpose? For the purpose of transmission of these goods, to deliver these goods to the buyer without reserving right of disposal. Without reserving right of disposal. We have already discussed what is without reserving right of disposal in the previous unit. Next, third point, where buyer or the agent of the buyer, where the buyer or the agent of the buyer have lawfully obtained the possession of the goods. Buyer or agent has already obtained the possession of the goods, then you cannot retain the possession of those goods. He has lawfully obtained the possession. Last one, by estoppel, meaning the buyer is representing himself to third parties that seller is not having the right of lien, only he has the right to retain the possession. Then in that case also, lien will come to an end. This is the first point, lien. Now let us see the next concept. When does the unpaid seller have right to get the possession of the goods? During the transit. Now let us understand what are rights of an unpaid seller. Right of stoppage in transit. That is, I have already sold the goods. I have already left the goods. The goods have left me for delivery. I am not in possession of the goods. It is on its way. So seller has sent the goods, but it has still not reached the buyer. It is during the course of its transit. During the course of its transit, when does the seller have the right to get the possession back for himself? In case of insolvency of buyer. So after delivery has started, but before delivery has come to an end, during the transit, buyer has become insolvent, then the seller can retain the possession, get the possession back. He can regain the possession after returning the price. If any money he has received, he can pay the money. If he received 50% or 30% or 100%, whatever the case, he has to return the price which he received if the following conditions are satisfied. Seller must be unpaid. Very clear. Only unpaid seller can exercise this right. He must have parted with the possession of the goods. He must have already lost the possession of the goods. Goods are in transit. The goods must be in transit. The buyer should become insolvent. Buyer has become insolvent. Not that insolvency petition is pending in the court. He has to be declared as an insolvent. And lastly, it should be covered in the provisions of the Act, which is nothing but Section 50. Section 50 talks about the right of the unpaid seller in stoppage of transit. You can exercise this right only when goods are in transit before the transit comes to an end. If transit comes to an end and if B or if B's agent or somebody representing B has collected the goods in various cases on behalf of B or B himself, then this right cannot be exercised. It can be exercised only during the transit and not after transit comes to an end. Let us now proceed to the next concept. Now let us discuss what is the unpaid seller's right to resale the goods. I am the unpaid seller. I have the possession of the goods with me. Can I resell them to somebody else? X has sold goods to Y, but X did not receive the payment. So can X resell the goods to a third party? Z. Even though it has been sold to Y, whether or not I have ownership is transferred or not, what is unpaid seller's right to resale? First, where the goods are of perishable nature, milk products, fruits, vegetables, which has a life, very short span of life, less than 1 week or 10 days, then these kind of goods can be sold without intimating the buyer itself. You can sell the goods to third party. But normally what will happen, the unpaid seller has to give a notice to the buyer that I am going to sell these goods and give some reasonable time to the buyer to respond. Where the buyer is not responding even for this notice, giving notice to buyer about intention to resell, he is not responding, not caring about this notice, then the unpaid seller can sell the goods. Let's say goods were worth rupees 5,000. There are two possibilities. I entered 5,000 rupees contract with Y. Now I am selling this goods outside in the market to third party. I will be able to sell them. If I sell same 5,000 rupees, well and good. No loss, no profit. What if I sell at 4,600 or what if I sell at 5,500? If you sell at 4,600, you have a loss of 400 rupees, which you can recover the loss from the buyer. Why? If you sell for 5,500, you have profit of 500 rupees profit. You have the right to retain this profit. But this benefit is given only where notice is given to the buyer. Where notice is not given to the buyer, if notice is not given to the buyer, then you cannot recover the loss. You cannot recover the loss. And if any profit is made 500, you cannot retain it. It has to be refunded to the buyer. Next, right of resale expressly reserved in the contract. Where the right of resale is expressly mentioned in the contract, then I need not give notice to the buyer. The requirement of notice is not required. Last case, now X is selling these goods to Z. What are the rights of the subsequent buyer? What are the rights of the subsequent buyer? The subsequent buyer will have good title towards the goods. Whether notice is given or notice is not given, the subsequent buyer will have a good title for the goods. This is the concept of unpaid seller's right of resale. Let us proceed to the next concept. Now let us understand the difference between right of lien and right of stoppage in transit. What are the common differences? First, in right of lien, you are already having possession of goods. I am going to retain it longer. So you are going to retain the possession for a longer time. But in case of right of stoppage in transit, I have lost the possession. Possession has passed away from me. I am going to regain the possession which I have lost. I am going to regain the possession. Here, I should already be in possession in case of right of lien. In case of right of stoppage in transit, I should have parted the possession. It should have been with the carrier. A third party is taking the possession of the goods, traveling with them, and the buyer has not yet acquired the possession of the goods. It is during the travel, it is in the transit. In case of right of lien, does not matter if buyer is insolvent or not. You can exercise your right of lien. You can exercise your right of stoppage in transit only when the buyer becomes insolvent. Only when the buyer becomes insolvent. And lastly, right of stoppage in transit starts when right of lien comes to an end. Very logical. What is right of lien? You are already having the possession, you are going to retain it. Right of stoppage in transit will come only when you lose the possession, you are going to regain such possession. Therefore, right of stoppage in transit starts after right of lien comes to an end. These are the differences between right of lien and right of stoppage in transit. With this, we have covered all the rights of unpaid seller against the goods. One last right is withholding delivery. Withholding delivery. This is applicable where the ownership, property in the good has still not passed to the buyer. Withholding delivery means I am retaining the delivery, I am not letting the delivery go out. Even though the goods are sold, I am keeping a delivery with myself. Now let us proceed to understand right of unpaid seller against the buyer. In the previous section, we had discussed unpaid seller's right against the goods. Now let us see what are the unpaid seller's rights against the buyers. He has 4 rights against the buyer. Suit for price, suit for damages for non-acceptance, suit for interest and repudiation of contract before due date. First, suit for price. If the property in the goods ownership is transferred from seller to buyer, then you can sue for the entire price. I sold goods for 10,000, sue case on him in the court for 10,000 rupees, recovering 10,000 rupees. Property is not passed and the buyer has promised to pay the money at a future date, but now he is refusing to pay the money at a future date. Then, even in that case, you can sue for the price against the buyer. Suit for damages for non-acceptance. When seller is trying to deliver the goods to the buyer, or if the seller's agent or seller's carrier is trying to deliver the goods to the buyer, if the buyer is not accepting the delivery of the goods, then the seller can claim damages from the buyer. What damages he can claim? What all loss he has incurred to transport the goods from the location of seller to location of buyer, all those damages can be claimed as per Indian Contract Act. Section 72 of Indian Contract Act, you can claim the general damages over there. Suit for interest. Now, buyer is paying late. Buyer is making the amount payment late. So, I have interest loss. Why do I have interest loss? If I had deposited this money in the bank, I would have earned some interest. That interest is lost by me. So, if the clause of interest clause, the rate of interest, the terms are present in the contract of sale itself, then you can charge interest based on what is mentioned in the contract. However, if nothing is mentioned in the contract, then you can file a case in the court and the court will award interest at a reasonable rate. From what date will I start computing interest on amount due? From the date of sale, from date of tender of sale or due date of payment. Sometimes I will sell today and give you 30 days credit period. So due date is the 31st day. So from that day you will start counting number of days for interest payment or date of sale. Court will decide that. Last one, repudiation of contract before due date. Repudiation means cancellation of contract. Cancelling the contract before due date. We will study the concept of anticipatory breach. So this is similar to the rule of anticipatory breach. I am anticipating that he is going to cancel the contract. So I myself, repudiation of contract before the due date. Again, the unpaid seller can claim damages. Because of this, whatever loss I have incurred, I can claim it from the buyer in form of damages. This is unpaid seller's right against the buyer. This is about Unit 4 of Sale of Goods Act. Thank you.